Everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is your host, Ryan Staley, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have Thomas Hansen. Thomas is the president of a digital analytics company called Amplitude, and he's got an amazing, I should say, backstory. He's traveled the world, worked at large companies like Microsoft, was the chief revenue officer at UiPath, where he saw insane growth and took the company public in 2021. Was born in Denmark. If it wasn't enough that he's worked all across the world, and is now leading the entire go-to-market team at Amplitude, where they are doing some amazing things, both from PLG and enterprise perspective. Thomas, welcome. Happy to have you on the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Happy to be here.
Yes. So you guys are doing some really great things over at Amplitude. You have companies like Walmart, Ford, Zillow, PayPal, DoorDash, just to name a few experiences, and really look at building experiences around consumers and like what they love and really tracking that journey. So, just as a quick backdrop, so you, the listener, have an understanding of like where we're at. Can you just explain like a little bit about you guys as an organization, where you're at in terms of the revenue journey, and then we'll take it from there.
You bet. So as a company, we've existed just over 10 years. We publicly traded on NASDAQ. We went public late 2021. Size-wise, just shy of $300 million in top-line revenue and round about 700 amplitudes.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So congrats, 10 years. That's did you say 350? I'm sorry, I apologize. I was blown back.
Just below 300.
Okay, I was blown back by 10 years, 300 million. So that's insanely impressive. And then can you talk us through a little bit, I know I referenced it, about what your solution does and the outcomes it creates?
You bet. So what we offer is a platform that allows, for example, folks in product managers, growth marketeers, data folks, engineering, to get insights on how their customers are using their products so they can build better products and better monetize the install base of users, of customers.
Okay. And is that predominantly for PLG related products or enterprise products, or it doesn't matter, all of the above?
Ryan, across the board, whether you are digital native, whether you're small or large, whether you're more conventional, traditional enterprise, doesn't matter. As long as you have a website and or an app, mobile presence, we can provide those insights into how your customers using the products, and those insights just allows you to go and build better products. And as I said, monetize your business in a better way.
Okay. Love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, and then as it relates to your team, like how did you as an organization, just high level, like what was the growth strategy to go from 0 to close to 300 million in 10 years? Like, I know that's a loaded question. I don't want to take the whole episode on that, but it would be great to understand, like, there's obviously some amazing things that you're doing organizationally to make that happen. So we'd love to just hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, you bet. First of all, I have to openly say I've only been with the company exactly 2 years, so I can't take credit for what's been done over that plus 10-year period. But look, every stage of a company and its formation is unique. And frankly, different stages also tend to, by and large, require different folks. As an example, if I look at myself, I would suck in a $5 million Series A company as an operator. It's just not me. Where I thrive is in the 250 mil stage and scaling that to $1 billion and beyond. That's what I do well. And others do, the 0 to 10, the 10 to 50, the 50 to 200 million stage well. So I think the one big takeaway is make sure that you yourself understand as an individual, where do you belong? Where is your superpower? What is the right stage for you as an individual? And then, of course, if you're a founder, CEO, or an executive out there, make sure that you have stage appropriate folks in the right roles at the right time. And of course, invest and do your very best to help those around you to scale so they continue to stay with the company. But reality is, for some roles, from time to time, you'll have to make some changes in the teams. And we have done that in Amplitude as well. And it's just the natural evolution of any company.
Yeah, I think that's a really important distinction. And that's kind of what I mentioned in the pre-show. That's why I always highlight, like, hey, what stage of the journey are you at company-wise? Because there's really unique skill sets that are different at each phase and different problems and opportunities. So I'd love to dig into that a little bit more. Like, so you said you would kind of effectively suck at being a $5 million, Series A operator at that point. Why do you think that? And then, like, what do you do exceptionally well to take companies from 250 to a bill? I would love to hear your perspective on
Look, I think I can speak for myself in saying I'm certainly not a full box of chocolate. We all have our development areas, right? The one thing that I have been very fortunate, very successful with is being able to spot, attract, successfully hire, and onboard diverse leaders and get them to work really, really well together by empowering them, but along the way, supporting them, coaching them, advising them. And that to me is the way you get to scalability in any organization of size. So call it 250 mil or all the way up to $1 or $5 billion. You got to have strong leadership teams that are empowered, they're self-sufficient, they work well together, and along the way they have fun and they enjoy being that. They enjoy working with their manager. Folks that have that experience, they stay around even through the tough times. That, at least that's my experience, and that's what I also hear from my peers in the industry.
that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah,
something unique that you did that I think helped you become part of who you are, and this was something that you kind of identified too, was leveraging, situational leadership, right? So,
yeah.
how do you do that? How do you execute on situational leadership? And like, before we get into execution, like, how do you define it? And then let's get into the execution phase secondary.
You bet. So, I mean, in my layman's terms of defining what is situational leadership, it's the notion that different people, and even the same people, but in different situations, require a different way of me engaging with them to get the best out of them. So, my point of view on situational leadership is it's not about others adapting to work with me. It's about me recognizing where a person is at any given point in time in their journey, including having a sense for what's going on in their personal life. So you engage with them in a way where you get to the maximum output of conversation, of a situation, so you can move them and the business forward in the best possible way.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, think about it. In a given day, you've been a senior leader, Ryan, right? And you would work in your role as an operator with individual contributors, with mid-level managers, with senior leaders. They're on a very different level of set of experiences and stage of their career. That requires you as a leader to just work with them in a different way to get the most out of the situation. So that's how I think about it. And I found in my toolbox that's been one of the more effective tools to drive a business into a much better place.
Yeah. I like, so that makes me think about, so you mentioned, like, when I was in leadership roles, like, there's two times, or not two, because that sounds like I never leverage it. There's a few times where it really stuck out to me when I was thinking, like, through those
Yeah,
elements. And like, if you're talking in like a direct report, it's what I found to be like insanely helpful was when I connected, like you're saying, the personal outcomes they wanted, whether it was to, like, for a sales team to create enough capital so that they could buy a house as phase one in
yeah,
2 years. And then like phase two is like, maybe they wanted to start a family and they wanted to have additional layers of security. So like, I've seen that on the direct, like, report level. And then from a leadership level, it takes like a different kind of nuance where you have to understand, like, not just the personal, but also the KPIs that they're being evaluated on. Because sometimes you'll see that, like, with, at least I have, right, where different executives KPIs don't always complement each other in terms of like what needs to be done. I guess would love to hear your
yeah.
perspective on that, and if you kind of take the same view when you're approaching it.
Well, I do. And I think, first of all, it's super important to understand what drives an individual, what drives a senior leader. And one of the things I found to be very effective is actually to drive some meetings with your leadership team where you openly talk about some of the more personal aspects. So you open up and you get to know each other and understand where you come from, what are your triggers, what are the core KPIs, what are the personal outcomes you look for. One of the things that I take such enjoyment out of working with senior leaders is it's so often that really what drives them more than anything. It's not compensation. It's not next step in a individual's career. It's more around that fulfillment of being accomplished, of being successful together with a group of smart, fun individuals, and running towards that goalpost, that goal together. So finding a way of getting people to truly deep understand each other, and then get to defining a common goal and then working towards it and enjoying that journey, having fun with that journey, as hard as it may be from time to time, and then eventually getting there. Folks get incredible satisfaction out of that. So yeah, defining that early upfront in a succinct way, that makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good distinction. So let's click a little bit on what's kind of happening today. Like, we've seen
Right.
technology accelerate faster than we ever
Yep.
have in the history of man, right?
Yeah.
AI is basically infiltrated. I don't want to say infiltrated, sounds kind of negative, so I don't want to say that, but it's becoming more integrated. How's that? Into essentially everything
Good
that we
choice.
do.
Yeah.
So what would you say on that, man? Like, how are you leveraging situational leadership with AI? What do you see the potential capabilities for that? And I would love to hear your thoughts on that, whether it be with a tool like ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, or just other proprietary tools that you use or leverage organizationally.
Yeah. Well, look, in my 32 years being an operator in the tech space, I've seen some tectonic changes. You had the arrival of the internet, you had the mobile explosion, you had the cloud. And then for me, the fourth biggest change of everything is the arrival of AI. So first of all, look, I know some people have questions around AI and some concerns around it. And I get that, and that needs to be addressed in an appropriate way. But I do
Right.
think by embracing the technology, understanding it, and contributing to it, that's how you make a positive change, both for the industry, but also for the individual company you work for. Now, in the case of Amplitude, we are, of course, in AI in two different ways. We're embracing it for our customers, and then also how we use it internally. In terms of what we do for our customers, by its sheer nature of what we do, digital analytics, AI has actually been embedded into our product before AI was a thing. But a very
Yeah.
practical example of what we do with AI is we have a feature in our platform called Ask Amplitude. And it really allows you in human language to ask a simple question on, hey, how do I best create a cohort that gives me a view on how can we optimize revenue performance of our PLG, self-certifying trial by business, as an example. That will give you some pre-populated views to give you some insights to that. So that's a great way for us to
Love
provide
it.
value to our customers. We have implemented a number of solutions that inherently leverages AI. The one probably the most excited about right now is from a vendor up in Seattle called Outreach. It's a sales productivity revenue acceleration platform. It allows you to run sales plays for SDRs and AEs. It allows you to have conversational intelligence where a agent called Kaya from Outreach will listen into the calls, and as you're going through the calls with the customer, will prompt you with suggestions on what to say next. So the agent's listening in, is learning, leveraging machine learning and AI, and it's providing you those suggestions on what's going on. And furthermore, that platform also provides you with intelligence on business performance and forecasting, what if scenarios, and of course intelligent forecasts based on machine learning. So super interesting product that we've been using for a while, that I'm pretty excited about. Pretty leading edge stuff.
Well, yeah, and I'm familiar with Outreach. So, like, what are the tangible outcomes you're seeing from that? Because obviously, you got a big org, right? You got
Yeah.
what, 150 salespeople, something along that, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
roundabout.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so obviously there's massive benefits when you're looking across that. So, and
Yeah.
I don't want you to give away the kitchen sink here, but like what's kind of like some of the core outcomes you've seen in terms of like percentage increases or outcome increases? Would love to just hear your perspective on that.
Well, first of all, look, like Amplitude is preaching to our customers that there's a consolidation happening in our category in digital analytics, and you should move away from having 7 different point solutions and move to one platform that can do it. That is what we've done with our sellers. So instead of having 3-4 different vendors or tools that we're giving to our sellers and SDRs, we have one, and that is Outreach. So why are we doing that? Well, it's very simple. One pane of glass, less time to train the sales force across multiple tools, and frankly, less time spent for the sellers and SDRs to sit internally and do stuff on tools, and more time selling. So number one, what we're accomplishing with it is more time to talk to customers. That's nirvana, right? That's what you want to optimize for. And then two, through this conversational intelligence we're providing, are able to provide our sellers through Outreach, we have seen our ASP significantly move up over the last year. I can't disclose the exact figures, but it's double-digit percentages, which we are really excited about.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. Whenever you can increase the selling price, that's fantastic. So, okay. And one last question, right? Because I know we're just about up on time. What about like in terms of like a consolidated stack? So I think it sounds like you consolidated the tech stack. Makes a lot of sense in terms of Outreach. Great tool. What about like, are you using any of the general purpose AI tech organizationally, not just for sales, but in specific areas like ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude or any tools like that?
So I was about to say obviously, but I guess nothing is obvious, but we are leveraging ChatGPT. We have also used a number of other tools. People.ai has been an interesting one. We've been using that for account plans. That's proven out to be a pretty neat solution. So I will say, and as it comes to AI, the industry is still in its early formation. The solutions are still broad and wide. There are many vendors out there. We're doing a lot of experimentation. We're doing a lot of trial and erroring. We're doing a lot of POCs, trying out solutions from different vendors to understand what are the use cases where AI really can lean in. Look, we have a dedicated go-to-market tech stack team that is evaluating vendors, is trying to listen into the industry and understand what's going on. Personally, I'm doing my level best through the VC community to stay real close to what's coming up, what's interesting, and try to learn from that and then leverage it on a POC basis in Amplitude to see if we can extract the value from it. So still early days for AI, still a lot of learning to be had, but no doubt there's a couple of very large vendors out there, OpenAI being one, that is pretty amazing in terms of the capabilities that they can offer already today.
Well, like, what's your personal favorite use case for ChatGPT?
That's a very good question. No, I feel like you are, man. But let's think. Let's think intelligently about this one here. I think it is probably trying to help me with email replies more than anything else, and going through an iterative process. Look, as much as I may be the president of Amplitude, my role every day is I'm selling. I also work as an SDR every day. It is on me personally. It's on all of us to take personal ownership for growing our businesses, right? So part of what I do every day is I reach out through my network to contacts I may have made 10 years ago that I never have met, but somehow I'm connected to on LinkedIn and so forth. So I do a lot of cold calling outreach through LinkedIn and through email.
Really?
I do actually, if you believe it or not, I do 10 a week at least.
How much?
I just think
you said 10 a week?
I do on average 10 a week.
Good for you, man.
And I just think you got to lead from the front. You got to set an example, and you got to be scrappy. We all got to lean in. Gone, Ryan, are the easy days of, pre-22. Things are a little bit more tighter now. And it's up to all of us to lean in, to push, to have tenacity, and to contribute. So I love doing it. I started as an SDR 32 years ago. I still have the DNA in me, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, working with the team on new opportunities. Awesome. It's fun.
You just endeared yourself to probably the majority of people listening. My first job it wasn't called an SDR, it was inside sales, where it was $250 a day. So, but your team's got to love you because you're doing that. Can't wait to dig into the next episode, but we're out of time right now. So where can people find you? Where can they find more about Amplitude? And then we'll wrap things up, and then we'll check you out for part 2.
Right on. So have a look on LinkedIn. You'll find me there, Thomas Neergaard Hansen. Just search for Thomas Hansen. You'll find me. And for Amplitude, jump onto amplitude.com. And if we can help you with digital analytics, go and try out our product for free. We have a great free offering. So with that, Ryan, thanks for your time. Really enjoyed this. This was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. So thanks for being on, and we will see you on the next episode.
You bet. Thank you.